What we're going to do next is create our context class. And we are going to place that in our models directory. The context class is pretty important because it is the bridge between our classes, our models, and the database itself. It is responsible for querying the database, for tracking changes, performing all the CRUD operations, managing relationships, all that type of thing. DB set is a collection of classes that will define your tables. And the DB set code is added to the context class. Okay, so we will be basically defining our tables and connecting them to the models using DB set. DB set is a class that is used to create, read, update, and delete. So it performs those CRUD operations. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to add our context class. And so if you expand here, you can see we already have movie added. So I'm going to right click, add class. Class is correct up here. And I am going to call this movie context. And above the namespace, I do need to add a using statement for Microsoft .entity framework core. There it is. And the namespace movie list.models is fine. For my class, I have to derive this from DB context. So I put in a space and it's smart enough to know that that is exactly what I want to do. So just press tab to accept that. And now I need to add the instance of my DB context options. I've got movie context. Whoops. Should have pressed tab. DB context options. And then in angle brackets, movie context is correct. Options is yep. So the rest of that looks okay. Yep, all of that is good. So just tabbing to accept that. All right, so now I need to tell it which class I want to use and what table name I'm going to create. And I use DB set for that. So it's public, DB set. And it's kind of guessing here. So what it's looking at is the data type is my class, movie. Let me press tab because it's actually done this correct. Everything is correct except for the end here, which I will fix. So movie is my class. Okay, so it's using that for my data type. Movies is what the table will be called in the database. Okay, and I'm just setting that to null. okay, instead of a new instance. Okay, so that is pretty much all I'm going to have in here for the moment. Eventually, I am going to be adding some seed data to this. Okay, but just to summarize, DB context has to have an instance of DB context options in order to perform work. And this is the statement that is creating that instance. We will use or we will connect the database to our context in program.cs. And app settings is where we actually define our database. DB context options can include a variety of database configurations. Things that it can include would be the database provider, which in our case is SQL Server, connection string information, um, behavior selectors, provider level selectors, that type of thing. So I'm going to save all of my changes here, and I'm going to run a build just to make sure I don't have any issues.